rate. Press the up or down arrows to get the rate you need. Press the current up arrow repeatedly to increase the pacing current. Now you can see these pace markers, indicating that pacing current is being delivered. You should notice the patient beginning to twitch. Increase the current until you see electrical capture. You'll have electrical capture when each pace marker is followed by a wide QRS and a T wave, like this. It's important to be aware that the average current needed for capture is between 50 and 100 milliamps. The final step is to ensure that you also have mechanical capture. Palpate the patient's pulse and obtain a blood pressure. Pulse oximetry may also be useful. Observe the patient continuously while actively pacing. The patient's response to pacing therapy may change over time. If you need to check the patient's underlying rhythm, press and hold pause to temporarily reduce the pacing rate. Release the button to resume pacing at the set rate. To stop pacing, press pacer. A few more things. During pacing, you always see dashes up here instead of a heart rate, and the heart rate alarms are disabled. It's important to frequently assess the patient for mechanical capture. If an ECG lead comes off, pacing switches to non-demand, and the monitor shows a dashed line for the ECG. This means the pacemaker paces 100% at the set rate, regardless of the patient's underlying rhythm. To re-establish demand pacing, reattach the ECG electrode. If you're increasing the current, but the patient is not twitching, check the patient's heart rate. Remember that the pacing rate needs to be set higher than the patient's own rate for pacing current to be delivered. If you're pacing and the patient needs to be defibrillated, press charge. Pacing stops automatically. Proceed with defibrillation as described in the manual defibrillation section. And that's it for pacing.
You can operate the Lifepak 15 monitor defibrillator with these lithium-ion batteries, or with an AC or DC power adapter. We're going to start by talking about the batteries. The Lifepak 15 batteries only work with the Lifepak 15. They're not interchangeable with other Lifepak devices. A Lifepak 15 battery is gray. You should routinely inspect each battery. If you see any leakage or damage, recycle it or discard it. Press this button to check the charge level. This one has a full charge. One LED flashing means it's very low and needs to be charged. If you see more than one LED flashing, it means the battery is faulty and you should send it to your authorized service people. This one is fine, it just needs a charge. This one is almost full. But before you put it in, inspect these pins in the battery wells to be sure there's no damage. Put it in like this. Click it in gently. To remove it, just push this little clip in and tilt the battery out. Okay, 2 batteries in. Let's power it up and look at battery information. You can see the battery status up here on the home screen. 2 batteries are installed and the battery in well 1 is highlighted. That means it's our power source right now. You can see the charge status for each battery. The 15 automatically uses the battery with the lowest charge first and switches to the other battery when the first battery is exhausted. If I take out the first battery, you can tell there's no battery in well 1, and the highlight shifted to the second battery. Now it's getting power from that battery. When I put it back, it appears in the display. And since that battery has a lower charge, the 15 switches to it automatically. When the charge gets very low, you'll see the low battery message like this. When both batteries run out, the device shuts off. The 15 will charge the batteries in the battery wells when it's plugged into a power adapter. To use either the AC or DC power adapter, connect the power cord to the adapter and plug it into a power source. You can tell it's connected by this green LED strip here. Now, connect the power adapter cable to the power adapter, like this, and the green end to the defibrillator back here. You know you're connected to auxiliary power when you see this LED lit up. You can tell the status of the battery by this indicator here. The LED is lit when the installed batteries are full, and it flashes when either battery is charging. The LED is not lit when there are no batteries installed, or when an installed battery is unable to be charged. We're on auxiliary power now, so it's not using either battery. And you can see battery 1 is recharging. The battery highlight on the screen has disappeared. Although the 15 can operate with only auxiliary power and no batteries, you should have at least one battery in it at all times, and keep installed batteries fully charged. If the monitor defibrillator loses power for more than 30 seconds, it reverts to your user default settings and starts a new patient record. You should keep the 15 plugged into the optional DC or AC power adapter whenever possible to help manage and maintain battery charge. Be sure to read the section in the operating instructions on battery maintenance and the external power adapters. If you have the output extension cable with a breakaway connector, it needs to be secured as described in the power adapter instructions for use. It's designed to break away when you need to move quickly, but the connector will last longer if you manually disconnect it whenever possible. Inspect and test everything daily to make sure it's in good operating condition and ready to use. There's an operator's checklist in the back of the operating instructions.